Hey everyone, Jordan here. Today is the launch of the AMD B850 chipset. A lot of people have been waiting for this one, a little bit cheaper than the X870 that we covered previously. And we've also got an M-ATX board. A lot of people were asking for this. They were a bit disappointed we didn't see many with the X870. So I thought we'd do this one first for you guys. This is the B850M-PLUS WiFi. So B850 is going to be a little bit of a rebadge from the B650. A few updates on certain parts of the board. The main one's going to be Gen 5 PCIe support over Gen 4 that we generally saw on the B650. That then brings it in line with the X870 we looked at before. Again, a single chipset, but without the mandatory USB 4 controller that those boards had. So if you don't need USB 4, you could buy a board like this to save yourself some money. Then there might be a little bit of a change for things like Wi-Fi and LAN on certain boards, but that goes down to what the manufacturer wants to change. So let's get inside the box. First, we've got our Wi-Fi antennas. This board's got Wi-Fi 6E built in, also Bluetooth 5.3. There will be Wi-Fi 7 on some boards, but they're generally higher up in the stack. For example, the Strix is obviously the next level up from the TUF. That has got Wi-Fi 7. So next up, we've got the board. I'll put that to the side so we can look at our accessories below first. We've got a quick start guide, some information about the web storage. There's some rubbers for single-sided M.2s. We've also got another standoff for an M.2. And then we have got a couple of SATA cables, one of which is right angled. And then finally some TUF stickers. Not too much included with that board, but generally speaking, the TUF lineup are the more affordable end of ASUS's boards. Now this board has an 8-layer PCB. A lot of people will be happy to hear that. And also a 14+2+1 power stage. On the top left, we have got two 8-pin EPS connectors over the 8 plus a 4 that the previous board had. So a little bit more power being drawn for this one. These are solid pins as well. On the right of the VRM heatsink, we've got an aero pump 4-pin header, and we've also got two more 4 pins there, so CPU optional and CPU fan. We then have three 5V addressable RGBs on the top right of the board. Then our 24-pin, there's also another 4-pin just tucked inside there as well. So that's our 4th header. We've also got our USB-C header there as well, that's going to be 10 gigabits per second. We then have a USB 3 header for Type A, that's going to be 5 gigabits per second. On the right angle at the bottom, we have got our SATA ports. There's 4 6 gigabit ports there. We've got our front panel connections on the bottom right. We've also got a USB 2 header. Going along, we've got another 4-pin header, and there's also one up by the M.2 there as well. So that's a total of 6 4-pin headers on this board. And we have our front panel audio on the bottom left. So go back up to our socket, of course, support for 7000, 8000 and 9000 series processors. And then to the right, we have our DIMM slots. This will support up to 192 gigabytes of DDR5, 8000 mega transfers per second straight out of the box. Pretty impressive stuff. This may change though with BIOS updates, as you can push the speeds and capacities over time. So just something to bear in mind if you're watching this at a later date. So for our graphics card support, like I mentioned at the start, B850, so it's going to be Gen 5. That's also got a little quick release on it as well. We've also then got an X1 down the bottom, perfect for a capture card or a sound card, something like that. In terms of our storage support, we've got two little M.2 heatsink covers to take off. Let's just do the first one. So I'm taking that off. On the back, we're going to have a thermal pad, so make sure you remove the tape. And there we've got support for up to an 80mm Gen 5 drive. There's also a little quick release on there as well. The material on that heatsink isn't that thick, so if you can get a drive that's got a bigger heatsink, I recommend going that. It should dissipate a little bit more heat. Then for the heatsink down below, again, 2 more thermal pads on the back, and then support for another 2 Gen 4 drives, again up to 80mm in length. So you've got support for 1 Gen 5 and then 2 Gen 4 drives on this board. So going on to the rear I/O, we have a display port and HDMI, very handy to troubleshoot with. There's 4 USB 2 ports, one of which is for your BIOS update with the BIOS flash button at the bottom, very handy thing to see. Then have the green USB ports, these are 10 gigabits per second, there's 3 of those, Type A. 2.5 gig LAN, we then have a 20 gig USB Type C port. The 4 blue USB ports are 5 gigabits per second Type A, our Wi-Fi 6E antenna points. This also has got Bluetooth 5.3, and then lastly our 5.1 audio. So that was a look at the ASUS TUF Gaming B850M-PLUS Wi-Fi. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments box below. It's nice to have a little bit of a refresh that doesn't necessarily have the mandatory USB 4, because a lot of people don't use that or need the throughput that it offers. So you can save yourself some money, of course, with the B850. Let me know what kind of build you'd like to see this in. I am looking for a board for the Dan case, the A3 from Lee & Lee, so maybe that one for that. I was waiting for something a little bit more modern, and obviously this is the perfect contender and the right form factor. So if you'd like to see that, let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please get subscribed and ding the bell. I've got the other ASUS board and also some other boards coming out to show you as well. There are some more on the way. I'll leave links for this in the description box when it is available. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to ASUS for sending it out for me to look at. and I'll see you all in the next one.